No, Rigby, you can't drive. I'm driving. Jeez. Ay, ay, ay. Hello and welcome back to the Flow Gold Wizard channel. It's a really beautiful day, so me and Rigby wanted to get the heck out of the house. We came up to a river not too far from home. The water is extremely high, as you can see. It's really coming through that dam. I brought my metal detector with today. We're gonna see if we can find some coins up on the high water lines here, or whatever, maybe some lead or something. And we're gonna do a little gold panning because there is gold in this body of water. So without further ado, let's get to it. Back in a bit. All right, Rigby's excited to get started. So let me give you a little layout of the land here. Now, I did a video in the past here, and I believe it was called a prospecting marathon. The water was considerably lower when I did that video. I mean, it was way down into there. There was a lot more area to work. But like I said, it's a great day out and we're gonna check it out. Now, you can see how big the cobbles are on this little stretch of beach here, if you can call it a beach. Now this is gonna be the highest of the water lines right here. It's not gonna get a whole lot higher than this, maybe in extreme situations, but this is about as high as I've ever seen it down here. So I think this is going to be a really good area to check, right in here where the highest of the high water is. And as you move on up, you'll see that the cobbles are getting a little bit smaller, turning into this light wash sand and stuff. So I think somewhere in here there's going to be a nice line of heavies and possibly more flour gold than 5 feet one way or the other. So we're going to see if we can locate some heavy metals, etc., and then take our hand at gold panning again a little bit. Pretty nice day out, that's for sure. Should have brought the fishing poles. A lot of walleye in there, boys. That's for sure. All right, let me grab my metal detector and shovel, and we'll get to it. I got a bit. Rigby's down there having a little fun of his own, looks like. And now we know what he was doing. Somebody's old deer carcass. Yuck. Back in a bit. Well, here's where we got metal detecting. We found a whole bunch of other stuff, a bunch of little chunks of junky wire and etc. But we found a few coins. 1970 quarter and a few pennies here and there. There's targets all over the place. You could stay busy here for the rest of your life. But there's so much garbage here. I mean, you guys all know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to shift gears here and see if we can do a little gold panning. These guys were partying. Yeah, big time. Back in a bit. Actually, I think we're going to move to a different spot to do a little bit of panning. That spot there, the water is just a little bit too high to get down to the areas where I want to get. So I do know of a spot that I was really chomping at the bit to try. So I'm going to stop in the bathroom here quick and take care of some business before I got to go. Or, well, maybe not. Back in a bit. All right, we made it to our new location. Let me give you a little breakdown here. Now, this road is basically a snowmobile trail all winter, and I am the first guy back here in quite some time. That road's still covered in snow off that way, going through the thick woods there, and it was a little iffy getting back in here. But my thought is, this here is a great big huge, the whole surrounding area, all the hillsides are made out of bedrock for the most part, but this particular spot has a great big pile of like glacial till gravels right on top of it. Let me give you a little sneak peek here. See the water is coming up out of the hill here. And you see all this bedrock right here? Right here. Okay. That's all solid bedrock going straight up like that. Okay, that's basically straight up and down. Now this whole side of this hill is doing that. Now it's really smooth bedrock, and I've worked here before. Basically, before I kind of had a handle on what I was trying to accomplish with my prospecting career. I worked over in here a little bit, pretty much on the side of the hill, and you know, you find a speck here or a speck there. Well, the gold isn't going to stick to the side of this hill on the smooth bedrock here, you know, unless it's down in like this little valley I dug out right here. All right, it's like a little bowl right in the bedrock right there, and all the gravels over the eons have been working their way down and over, and you know, there's a little bit of clay built up in there and a speck or two of gold. But today, what I want to do, since the last time I was here, I realized that there's always, every time I come here, there's a puddle of water right there. Every single time there's a puddle of water right here. And I'll tell you why that is. Because the bedrock is coming down this big hill. And I'll take a walk up there and show you some other spots some guys have been working, getting little chunks of copper off the top of this thing in some of those deep crevices. But for now, what I want to do is work my way down here in these gravels here and get on top of this. I believe this is a plateau in the bedrock right here, which is why it's holding so much water all the time, all year long. You know, other than super drought or whatever, but that would be my guess that's why this puddle's here. So we are gonna take our time here, and I brought Mercedes, my hooker tool, and we're gonna dig down into this. We're gonna dig a nice little trench, and I've got a sucker tube. I've got all my gear here and some pans, and we're gonna see if there's anything on top of this this little plateau. And you can see as you work your way over here, here's some more of that bedrock exposed, and it looks like somebody else has been working here a little bit too. A couple little holes somebody dug, but I think that it's still on a kind of an incline right here, and you really got to get somewhere where it plateaus and there's some bellies in this bedrock here, some little shelves or something, because it's just so darn smooth that the gold isn't going to stick to it. So now it's time to break some back. I'm going to grab my tools and get to work over there. Back in a bit. And for those of you who don't know, let me introduce you to Mercedes, my hooker. This tool works great for pulling rocks and such out of the way. When shovels don't, that baby will clear you some material. Let me tell you. I'm going to get right on top of that bedrock, and I'm going to start working my way down into this deepest part right here, because I do believe that's where that shelf is. And I dug a small little trench in it right there, just to get rid of some of the water that was in there. And it looks like it's just kind of running off and down that way just a little bit. But I know there's some good amounts of water just over on the other side of that hill there, or on the back side of this, and coming down and around that way, there's a little creek, and we'll take a little look at that too. Back in a bit. There's a rig coming down off the mountain over there. A little update. I've been using my little magnetic black sand probe from Placer Tools, just checking to see what kind of ironstone or magnetite, etc., might be in this material as I'm getting down closer to the bedrock here, and it's coming up with some pretty decent looking samples. Now this thing here, I'll just go ahead and give her a little whack, and that's pretty much cleaned off. You know, and I can probe around in there a little bit more like such. and there's pretty decent amounts of black sand on there. So I got most of these big rocks pulled out of here. I'm gonna start taking my shovel now and working my way down on here. And I brought a small classifier here with my super sluice, and this water is plenty deep enough to pan, and if it gets too dirty, I'll just open my trench back up, and it's feeding clean water in here as we speak. So let's see if we can find some gold. Back in a bit. What a nice day. All right, we've got the first pan down. I took it right out of there. All right. Now that I took trying to slide right down that bedrock, and right there it goes right straight down, and then it kind of levels out again, and there's a big thick layer of clay on top of there. And I pulled up a big chunk and I threw it in my classifier and pan here and pan that down. So we're still kind of on the edge of that little plateau, but I did find a couple of small pieces here. They're extremely small, really small. I don't know if you're gonna pick them up or not, but they are there. There's two little dots right there. That looks like some gold from Sunny Rico. It's so small. So I'm gonna snuffer those up. I'm gonna continue to work my way down into the heart of this big plateau and see if there's anything bigger down there. Back in a bit. All right, here's my second pan. Just doing a little testing here, and I stayed in that same hole now, and I'm just going down just a little bit deeper, and it looks like there's a layer of gravel underneath that clay that doesn't have as much clay in it, and I think I'm scraping the top of the bedrock, but my result is this piece right here. All right, that's a little bit, quite a bit bigger than them other ones I was finding in there. That water is getting filthy. I might have to swap out my water here. But I think we're on the right track. I'm going to take a few more pans out of there, and I got my black pan out, and I've got a couple, those other couple of pieces in it, and we'll take a look at it. Back in a bit. All right, here's a video update. Now, we've been working in that hole there. I got down to, I believe, what is the start of the plateau on the bedrock down there, about 1.5 feet down. And I've got, I don't know, a dozen pans or so, maybe a couple more than that, whatever. But, well, my back is sore, so it's definitely more than a dozen. And let me show you the progress we're making here. We've actually got a few pieces. Let me see if I can get that in the shade there. Sure we can. Let me get my finger down there and try to get it to focus. See all those pieces in there? Look at all of them. Absolutely. There's that little bit bigger piece and a whole bunch of little tiny minute flower pieces. That is really small stuff. So I do believe my theory is correct, that sitting on top of this bedrock plateau right here is going to be better gold. The time I was down here working, over in those areas over there, I found a few, but never as many as this. And I never really did put the time that you would need to get, a half gram or whatever out of this area. There's just so many other places to go that I can shovel right on my sluice or whatever without having to pan like this all day, because that's tough. So I think what we're going to do is put the kibosh on that there, and we're going to do a little sightseeing. I want to show you guys some bedrock up in that area there, where some members of my club have been prospecting for copper pieces and etc. Back in a bit. All right, we made it up here to the top. There's still some snow up here in the higher elevations. So some of that bedrock that I wanted to show you is going to be covered up. But get down the mountain here a little bit, and we'll take a little walk that way. And you can see that some of it is still exposed. Like this stuff right here. This is that bedrock I was talking about. Now, some people have been down here working some of these small little nooks and crannies and whatnot. Now, I wouldn't expect this to be, you know, your typical river type gold deposits. But back in the day, you know, back when Two Toes was a kid, there was glaciers on top of all this stuff, depositing gravels and possibly gold. Now here's a big long strip of a bedrock running the length of this big ridge, and we'll take a little look at it. See how shiny and smooth that stuff is? But there are nooks and crannies that can be worked, and people have found some really neat stuff here in the past. Like this little spot here, somebody was digging in a little bit, and it doesn't look like they got down there too far, you know. So I would think that from there to there, where you can see more flat bedrock, there's a big depression right there that may contain something really good that would just need somebody to throw a little effort into it. And right along here, you can see somebody's been working this little crack right here. You know, I don't know, and somebody worked in there really good, or quite a bit. There's still plenty of areas to be worked back in here. Look it up in here on top. This is all smooth bedrock. You gotta watch out, it's slippery too. Somebody worked in there quite a bit, and this little top right here. Look at that. That is neat, right there. Now that is bedrock right there. Okay, so this is making a flat bench right here and then straight up. So somebody found that, and I bet you they got some really interesting things out of there. Look at all the material they pulled out of there. That's a pretty big pile. And then they went in there and they just went to town. And that's a perfect example of that bowl I'm talking about. Look at this here. What a beautiful spot this is. Okay, I'm standing in that water. It's about, I don't know, ankle deep. And this is the bedrock right here. All right, it's coming down and right down into that water puddle I'm standing in, and then right up. Talk about a bowl right there. They've absolutely, I guarantee you, they found something neat in there. So I think we'll wait until there's not so much snow cover yet around here, and we'll come back to this spot for sure. Oh, somebody really put in some work. I'll have to get a hold of Ron at the shop and see what's going on with that. Yeah, look at that ravine. That goes right straight down over there. Back in a bit. All right. That's where we were. We were up on top of that big hill right there, all right? Kind of roaming around back in there with all that bedrock and stuff. And I decided to come down, and here's the little snowmobile trail road that goes in front of this pit. Now, right on the other side of that pit, right here, there's a creek, and that runs the back side of this great big bedrock mound, and it's cutting right through glacial material up that way quite a ways. Now just from here I can see quite a bit of a drop in elevation, like right there. There's some little waterfalls. I can see it's probably 3 to 4 feet up, and they're just kind of gently splashing down. You know, every 10 feet or so you're dropping another foot or whatever. But we'll take a little walk up there. I got my super sluice here and a shovel. We're gonna take a couple samples. Look at this guy, he loves winter. Yeah, back in a bit. All right, we made it back in here. Here's those little rapids we can kind of see from back on the road there. And a lot of this stuff looks like real light wash sand, but there are some flat chunks of, I'm not sure if that's bedrock or just some kind of slate that's laying there. But it's really swampy, mushy looking stuff. Here and there, you know, I walked around a little bit. Here and there's some small little gravel deposits like this here. So I think I'm going to take a sample from behind this right here. I mean, the water's coming down, and then it's got to smash into this old pile of roots right here. And maybe there's something deposited right behind it. If I can't find nothing there, I'm sure Rigby will find me something. Hey, buddy? All right, back in a bit. No gold in our first pan. Let's try another spot. Well, we did do a couple more pans down there, or up there rather. We didn't find much. It's real mushy, black mush back there. I think once you get up quite a ways further that way, it turns into a little bit more workable gravels, but it's getting a little late in the afternoon and we just wanted to get out and kill a little bit of time. And what better way to do that than go exploring out in the wilderness. Me and Rigby always have a blast. We did find some gold in this pit here. It's where you look. I mean, you can't just dig in the side of the hill and expect to find gold. You kind of got to use a little bit of, the terrain and, stuff you gain knowledge from watching videos, even like this one here. I learned watching videos all the time. So it's going to wrap it up for this spot here. We've got some big plans coming up, some great spots, and we're going to put some smiles in some gold pans. So until the next episode, like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to check out my Patreon page. Half the money goes back to you guys in gold pay dirt giveaways. Flower Gold Wizards out.